Hi, everybody. I'm Target 12 investigator Tim White. I'm joined by my colleague, politics and business editor, and also from Target 12, Ted Nesi. Ted, are you ready to answer another round of questions?
Absolutely. And, we appreciate how many people are getting in, and just know we're trying to get as many of your questions as possible. We're hearing from a lot of people, and we're doing our best to keep up. So we hear you.
Yeah, definitely. And especially since we launched our new 12 Responds initiative, which there will be a link below this video. If you have a question, you're watching this, connect with Ted and I through 12 Responds. So we'll be sure to put a link down there. All right, Ted, this is where we're going to begin as a jumping off point to our discussion. And this is a chart on our WPRI 12 webpage under track cases. And this is showing all the unemployment insurance claims, also TDI, temporary disability. And then look at right here. This is yesterday. And Ted, that is obviously because Rhode Island launched the new federal pandemic unemployment assistance program.
Yes, this is a great chart by our colleague Eli Sherman that lays out, you can see each day, every one of these numbers is huge on here, to have this many people filing a day. But as you can see in the top right there, we're nearing 130,000 people in Rhode Island have applied for either unemployment insurance, TDI, or pandemic unemployment assistance, this brand new program, and over 10,000 people tomorrow, just yesterday, Monday, for the new one. So it's just, the numbers are massive.
And again, the color here is a little bit different because of the PUA program that we're talking about. And that, for Ted, for people who, we get a lot of emails on this, people who are, gig economy workers or independent contractors. By and large, someone, if you fill out a 1099, you want to apply to this new program, which is right here on the DLT website.
Yes, this is where you want to apply. We heard some good reports. I was asking people yesterday to reach out and tell me how it went, and it sounds like it was relatively smooth. We've had computer program issues in Rhode Island in the past. I don't have to remind anyone of that, but they used Amazon Web Services, I believe, for this one. So it seems to have stayed up fine, and they're making their way through them. One question we got from people, Tim, was that people who kind of are freelance type of workers, they work for various people, but almost for themselves. They said, well, who do I put as my employer? You can just put your own name, they said, and you can put in the amount of money you made on all your different so let's say you were a writer and you wrote for different outlets. You can just put your name and then the amount of money, your AGI for all the outlets for the previous year.
The number one question, Ted, that we're getting on 12 Responds is still about that $600. And you and I have done several videos about $600. This is the extra unemployment benefit that is coming from the federal government. So, Ted, let's just remind people, since this is such a common topic in emails and 12 Responds, about this. So, first of all, it is a weekly benefit. A lot of people wonder if that $600 is a one-time thing. This is a weekly benefit that you will automatically start getting into in your benefits. You do not need to do anything else if you are already receiving unemployment insurance benefits. We are told no other application process. Even if you were already receiving unemployment insurance prior to the pandemic. That's a big question that we get a lot. People like, I was collecting unemployment in February. Will I get the $600? We are being told, yes, you will get the $600. And Ted, the biggest question we get is when? When are we going to see that money?
Yeah, so Angelica Pellegrino at the DLT, she's their spokesperson. And I should say, Tim, I really have to give her a shout out. People who work for government don't always get a good rap, and she has been tireless. She was answering my emails at 5 a.m. this morning, and we've been sending her a lot of questions. So we couldn't do these videos without her assistance getting the information.
Agreed.
So we thank her for that. We asked Angelica at DLT again about the $600. She told us, quote, we anticipate that these changes will be made in the coming days, and most of the payments will be made within 14 days, though some may take a bit longer. The $600 will be retroactive to the week ending April 4th. So soon, and you can expect that you'll get a bigger lump sum in that first payment, because they'll not only be doing that week $600, but at least 1 week will have been retroactive, maybe more depending on when you get it.
And key word there, the week ending April 4th. So that is what, beginning Saturday, March 28th?
28th, 29th, around there, yeah.
Okay. Ted, let's stick with you. In Rhode Island, they launched the program for PUA, so independent workers can apply. We are hearing a lot from Massachusetts going, what's the deal? Why can't I apply for the PUA program? And we heard from the officials in Massachusetts on this.
Yes, our sister station, WWLP, out in Springfield, Massachusetts, did some good spade work on this yesterday and shared it with us. The statement they got yesterday evening around 6 p.m., that was Monday, from the Massachusetts department in charge of unemployment said, quote, "The department has recently received federal guidelines related to the CARES Act's application requirements, business rules, eligibility standards, exceptions, and technical requirements, and will act swiftly to provide needed financial assistance to residents of the Commonwealth as soon as possible." So that's a fancy way to say we're working on it. They do, like Rhode Island, now have the information they need to do the $600 to launch it for self-employed folks, but they're not yet willing to put an exact time and day for when they'll launch their application the way that Rhode Island did on Monday.
Another question we get a lot, Ted, people who worked part-time prior to the pandemic are wondering if they can also receive benefits. And again, we reached out to Angelica Pellegrino at DLT, and she said, yes, generally speaking, part-time workers may be eligible for unemployment insurance benefits if they don't also have a full-time job. So if there isn't another full-time income source. Generally, if an employee's hours have been reduced, she writes to me, they may be eligible for unemployment insurance benefits and should apply. And as we've sort of touched on here, there are two places that you can apply online. We talked about this one. This is if you're the 1099 worker, the independent gig economy kind of worker. And then this is your regular unemployment insurance internet claims system on the DLT website. Again, we'll put the links below this video. And this is for folks, just generally speaking, Ted, if you fill out a W-2, this is where you would apply for uninsurance employment benefits. I think the theme that we're hearing from DLT is, look, we've said this a few times, Ted, just apply. If you're not sure, give it a shot, because you're not going to get in trouble if it turns out you are not eligible. So why not?
As long as you tell the truth on your application, and we trust all of you would,
right.
Just make that first step in your head. Am I a regular W-2 worker? Is that where my tax information comes, every January? Or am I 1099, self-employed, own my own business, something like that? And that's sort of the two paths. And then you pick W-2, go to the traditional system, put in your application. And if you're one of the other types of workers, go into this brand new system. And that should get you going. And yeah, the worst that happens, and I know this could be hard for folks, but they'll say you're not eligible, but at least you'll know. Better to find out.
Okay, Ted, the other thing we get a lot of questions about or comments sometimes, is the DLT phone line is so busy. I can't get through. I'm trying to do X. And really, you and I have talked about there are two kind of categories where people face some headwind when they're trying to get into the DLT program. First, Ted, to you, people who are, they have filed online, they've received that first email, and they haven't gotten that second or even third email yet, and they can't get through to the phone system. What should they do?
Well, first of all, it's patience, which I know is a very hard thing to tell people who've lost their income. And so I don't ever want to make it sound like that should be easy, but they are saying 7 to 14 days right now is how long it could take for you to get that second or third email that will give you your further instructions. So as we keep saying, if you got your confirmation number when you first applied, you are on the right track. A confirmation number means you're in the queue with DLT. But you are probably going to have to wait as much as 14 days. After 14 days, that's when they say you should probably call or flag your, some folks have just emailed me directly and I've passed on their information to flag it to DLT. But I think until you hit that 14 days, don't drive yourself crazy calling DLT over and over if you have your confirmation number, because you are in the system, they say. And so it's after that you should do it. And you should also, of course, try to use the online teleserve system if people haven't tried that yet.
And that is sort of the second bucket of people that we're talking about. There are some people that say they're in the system, maybe they were receiving benefits, and people have to certify their unemployment every single week, and they do that through the system you just talked about, teleserve. You can do it online. You can do it through the phone system. It's sort of a robocall. But a lot of people are getting the response that, hey, you have to call in. Maybe there was a problem certifying your unemployment or your wages if you made a little bit of money that week. The problem is they're trying to call in and it's so busy. What we're being told by DLT officials, Ted, is, of course, keep trying, as you just said, patience, which is not an easy thing to hear. They're telling us they are trying to add capacity so that they can handle more of these phone calls. And they also say that you should be getting paid. Even if you can't get through and certify your weekly unemployment, but you've already received benefits, you are in the system, you've gotten those 3 emails, they're going to sort of waive those requirements until they can get the system up and running. All right, final thoughts here, Ted. We also got a lot of emails on, sort of unique to 3 states in this country, the program that CVS has opened up here in Rhode Island, and that is the program that allows you to get tested over at the Twin River site. And a lot of people kind of want to know, all right, how do I get tested? This is a link to the CVS website that we will be providing below. And I don't know if it moves off to the side for you there, Ted, but you click down here. Can you see that? Only 3 states, Georgia, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. I don't know about you, Ted, but that kind of tells me it's nice to have a major company in the boundaries of this state.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing that one of the largest companies in the country and biggest health companies is in Woonsocket. It was CVS, and of course Larry Merlo, their CEO, and Governor Raimondo know each other pretty well. And that's why I think also this is in northern Rhode Island, in Lincoln, not too far from CVS headquarters as a test site. We have been told this just launched on Monday. CVS is ramping up to get to 1,000 tests a day as the governor wants. Right now they're still saying you should only sign up for a test if you have symptoms. They do want to get to the point where asymptomatic people, no symptoms, can get tested. But because of limited testing capacity, they're still asking folks who wonder if they had it or have it, and they're not sick yet, to just stay home. Don't do it yet. But if you do have any symptoms, you can just go right in there and put information in, or you can call your primary care physician or someone else and ask them to refer you. And to be clear, you can also still get referred to the National Guard testing sites. There are a few of them around the state, and both are valid tests. You shouldn't be worried if you're at one or the other. I think the CVS one is a little faster because they're using different technology.
A little bit. It's much faster. They say the results could come back within 15 minutes.
Yeah, so very fast. Yeah, good point, Tim, at the CVS site. But again, if you're sent to one of the National Guard oriented sites, that's okay too. Those are valid tests as well. So again, the basic message is, if you're sick, stay home, reach out to a primary care physician if you have one. If you don't, reach out to an urgent care or a community health center, let them know, and they'll give you directions on what to do next. But, please stay home, they're saying, because we just can't have it spread too fast through Rhode Island.
And an important note on the CVS clinic, this is not for kids. You have to be 18 years of age or older, and you do have to make an appointment, which is why we will put this link at the bottom of this video so you can click through and work on that process. All right, Ted, well, thank you for your expertise as always, and this is the 12 Responds page that we've been talking about here. You can reach out to us directly. We have a whole team of people working on this right now. We get your emails. We try to curate them so if there are a lot of the same questions, which often they are, Ted and I do these videos for you, and we answer those questions. So if we didn't answer your question in this video, chances are we might have already. So just scroll down and look through the different topics that we have below here, and hopefully we've answered those questions. And if we haven't, you know how to get in touch with us through the 12 Responds page. Ted, did I miss anything?
The only other thing I'd add is I just say to everybody, thank you for sending us those questions. Again, we're doing our best to get back to people and answer them in this video, but truly, as reporters, your questions are helpful to us because we're not in the system every day, knock wood for now anyway, and we learn about it from all of you. And so you telling us the pain points you hit, the questions you have, that opens our eyes to things we need to check on and bring to everyone else. As Tim said, if you have a question, other people probably do too. So you're not bothering us. We want to hear from you. And if you don't hear a quick response, that's just us getting a ton of emails and trying to keep up. Plus, we're covering the rest of the COVID-19 stuff. But keep reaching out. All the emails get read. I absolutely promise that.
He is absolutely right. We have a whole database that we've been building on that. One thing we didn't mention, Ted, is we are recording this video on Wednesday, April 8th, just, because information is fast and furious, so some of this could be updated depending on when you are watching this. And for other questions, one of us, Ted or I, have been appearing in our nightly newscasts at 5 and 6 o'clock on Channel 12 with other questions that come in through 12 Responds. So make sure you tune in at 5 and 6 o'clock at Channel 12 and catch some of the other questions that we've received. And as always, thank you very much for watching this video here on WPRI.com.